Now they give you the ball. You go 5 of 18. You give us a outstanding 15 points with 4 turnovers. And now you're talking about how the other guys aren't stepping up? No, buddy. You need to look yourself in the mirror. Now, I told y'all a couple months ago when the discussion of who deserves to win the MVP, Jokic or Embiid, came up, and I talked about it. I said that if you want to give the MVP to Joel Embiid, fine, he deserves it. But I didn't care, and the reason why I didn't care, was because I wanted to see him give us postseason success. Get to the Eastern Conference Finals at least once, brother. At least once. At this point, I don't even care if you get swept. Just get there. Just get there. And a lot of people were giving Jokic flack because at one point it looked like he was gonna win it this year. And a lot of people have been making, because Jokic, the last 2 seasons, he's been put out in round 1 and 2. And a lot of people saying, well, he hasn't done anything in the postseason either. First off, Jokic has at least been to the conference finals. Okay? Now this is going to be his second time. Number 2, let's put those other 2 years into context. One of them, actually both of them, was without Jamal Murray. And one of them, Michael Porter Jr., didn't play. So, you're telling me you expect a guy to win a championship or get to the Western Conference Finals at least without his 2 best players? Exactly. I finished. I said, if Jokic goes into the postseason and he flames out, I'll be here to cook him. And I'm a Jokic guy. But if he would have got flamed out in the second round, I would have cooked him. And I also said that if Joel Embiid did the same thing, I would cook him as well. I want everybody listening to this to know that Joel Embiid is the only MVP in league history to have never been past the second round of the playoffs. And he's 0-5 in round 2. He's 0-5 in round 2. And he's, as a collective, he's 0-3 in game 7s. I like Embiid's game. I really do. But I told y'all that if Embiid won the MVP just to get put out in the second round, it's an embarrassment. It's shameful. A waste. And what's bad enough is the guy who he virtually won it over is balling out of his mind. Jokic, if you had any doubt that Jokic wasn't the best big man in the NBA, he just put all that to rest. This is by far the best we've seen Jokic. He's scoring at a high rate while still rebounding and passing the ball well. He had DeAndre Ayton looking like he was 6'2", outrunning DeAndre Ayton down the court. We all know Jokic does not have an athletic ball in his body. Grabbing rebounds, finishing over dudes. You gotta think about it. Cat is trash. Karl Anthony Towns. In my opinion, Cat is an abysmal of a player. He's horrible. He's soft. All he wants to do is shoot threes. Somehow he thinks he's the best big man in the world. He's just garbage all around, okay? He's just trash. But at least he's athletic and he's 7 foot. Jokic toyed with him. Then you got DeAndre Ayton, who's athletic and 7 foot. He toured him and he did him the worst way. You know how bad it was? They went to the bench and tried to put the Lindell, the third big man on the Suns team. Tried to put him in. He torched him. Tried to put Biyombo in him. He gave him work. Like, what can you do? So Joel Embiid, and again, he has the knee injury. And a lot of people have saying, well, you know, he had the little knee injury, and I understand that. But the fact of the matter is this. After game 2, we were all pretty much any concern about the injury that we had was put to rest after game 2. Because game 2 he was moving well and he looked right. Game 3, he took off the knee brace and he put on the sleeve. The pad or the sleeve. So he wasn't even wearing the brace. So if he does that, in my opinion, he's alluring to that I'm fine. I'm good. If I'm not wearing the brace no more, I'm good. And then, of course, game 4, he was moving well. Game 5, he was moving well. I mean, watching Embiid in these last couple games, it didn't come to mind that, oh man, he does have the injury. Maybe, no, because he was moving fine. He was getting up the court fine, jumping, you know. But he was horrible. 15 points. I believe he was, 3 of 15? 5 of 18. I am so sorry. 5 of 18, 0-4 from 3. 4 turnovers. He was 5 of 6 for the free throw line, but Joel Embiid usually gets to the free throw line at least 8 to 10 times. What I don't understand is the Celtics at one point put Marcus Smart on Embiid. Mind you, Embiid is 7'1", 7'2", 300 something pounds. Marcus Smart is 6'3" on a good day. You telling me you can't punish him? You can't punish me? And I don't give a dang. I don't want to hear, but they were sending a double team. Listen, every good player, every star, every superstar in the NBA gets double teamed. Can we please stop making that excuse? Figure it out. Every great player in the NBA gets double teamed. That's just how it is. Guys are getting double teamed. All guys get double teamed. They still find a way. And B needs to find a way. What I saw last night, or last evening, was a guy in Embiid who had no fight in him. No fight, no resistance. Didn't seem like he wanted it. Didn't play like his legacy and the trajectory of his career was on the line. He played like he quit. He played like he gave up. After that game 6 loss, when the balance of the game was there for the taking, up 3-2, with Tatum not playing well up until the fourth quarter, he looked like his soul was took from that game. After game 6, he's complaining about how, I didn't touch the ball in the last 4 or 5 minutes. You know, I gotta touch the ball. That's why we lost. Then after game 7, he's talking about how, other guys gotta step up. It's not me and just Harden. So what do you want to be? Do you want people to pass you the ball, or do you want the others to score too? Because one game you talk about how they not giving you the ball. Now they give you the ball, you go 5 of 18, you give us a outstanding 15 points with 4 turnovers, and now you're talking about how the other guys aren't stepping up? No, buddy. You need to look yourself in the mirror. You didn't graduate now. You're an MVP. You're an MVP of this league, and you still haven't gotten past the second round. That is not on anybody else but you. I don't want to hear about James Harden. We know what James Harden is in the postseason. We know he gonna lay an egg. We know he garbage in the postseason. I don't want to hear about that. I don't care about them 2 games. People talk about, y'all talk about Harden trash, but they wouldn't have won those 2 games if it wasn't for Harden. Bro, let's be realistic. Even though he played well in those games, and you can make a legitimate argument that he was the reason why they won, we all know Harden ain't good to give you a consistent good play in the postseason. I mean, at this point, I feel like he's throwing the games away. And I never think, and I'm not even a one to get into this conspiracy theories of, oh, he's betting this, but the way Harden just be, the way he acts when the moments exceed compared to who he is in the regular season, it just got to be something like that. But I don't care about what Harden is, how Harden plays, because we know at this point James Harden has been a decade plus in the NBA. We know who Harden is. He's not going to change that. He can't change that narrative. We know who Harden is. Embiid up to this point still has the opportunity to change the narrative about himself. The fact of the matter is, you've lost every game 7 you've played. Every postseason you've been a part of, you've been put out in round 2. The fact of the matter is, the Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum have had your number since you've been in the NBA. So I don't want to hear about other players needing to do this. What NBA superstar or the leader of the team goes out in the press and airs out his teammates for 2 straight games, even if they was playing like trash? I don't want to even bring up LeBron so much in discussions that are not about him, but we've seen LeBron walk on a court and play with complete, utter garbage juice teammates. I've never heard LeBron once air out one of his teammates. Now, he might air him out during a game. I've never heard him on the press talk bad about his teammates. And if he does say anything about the team, he speaks in a collective that includes himself. We have to do a better job at this. We have to do a better job at executing. We have to do a better job at this. The reason why I brought that up is because LeBron has had valid reasons to come out and say, yo, my teammates is garbage. Or maybe not to that degree, but at least come out and criticize his teammates. But he didn't. And the fact that Embiid is, on top of his teams are not even playing that bad. But what I'm trying to figure out is, one game, they're not giving you the ball. The next game, you talking about how they're not productive. Maybe did you think about, just maybe Embiid, maybe they watched your press conference or post-game interview, whatever you want to call it. Maybe they just watched it and decided, okay, you're right, let's give him the ball. And game 7, they just decided to give you the ball. Maybe because you forced them. Well, not forced them, but you made it known that you weren't getting enough touches. And as a result, they followed your lead and gave you the ball. And as a result, took away production from them. Now you're complaining because they're not getting production. When the whole time, Tobias Harris outscored you. Tyrese Maxey outscored you. PJ Tucker almost outscored you by 4 points. PJ Tucker was your third leading scorer ahead of James Harden. But somehow, some way, it's just no production from somebody else. You talking about you and James Harden, the only ones out there. Y'all not even doing nothing. How you gonna talk about that? That's what really made me mad. He gonna include Harden with him, talking about it's not just me and Harden out there. Harden ain't even out there for real. He not doing nothing. You scored 9 points in 41 minutes, 3 of 11, 1 of 5 from 3 with 5 turnovers. You not doing nothing. Harden a minus 30. And you have the audacity to come out in the press and talk about how it's just me and Harden out there and the other guys have to step up? When Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris outscored you? And Harden? It's no saving Embiid. It's no saving Embiid. It just isn't. So I don't want to hear about this stuff about Embiid no more. I dang sure don't want to hear anybody say he's better than Jokic, because he's not. Matter of fact, you might as well just go ahead and ship the MVP to Jokic. So Embiid, your career has taken a turn for the worse. The process is over. It's over. Doc Rivers is probably going to lose his job. Do I think he should? To be honest, it's only his second year with the team. I don't think he should. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think him and James Harden really get along like that. They constantly take shots at each other after post games. Doc is always talking about how the offense gets stagnant and it's just a whole bunch of dribbling. Obviously, we know he's taking shots at James Harden. Then Harden comes out yesterday and says that him and Doc Rivers' relationship is okay. It's just like, what? On top of that, it's already talks that Harden wants to go back to Houston for some reason. I don't freaking know. Then the GM, Daryl Morey, is close with Harden. That's his boy. So I'm sure if, he wants to, I'm sure he still wants to keep Harden. And firing Doc Rivers would essentially ensure that Harden is going to be there, because I feel like Harden doesn't want to be there because he doesn't want to be coached by Doc Rivers anymore. I just don't think they have a good relationship. So I think letting go of Doc Rivers would help. But do I think Doc Rivers should be fired? No, because I don't believe it's his fault. I don't believe that it's his fault. At least this time. Now, I know there's a stat out there that, he's lost 7 straight game 7s, and this is the 6th time that he's lost a series that he's up 3-2. That is inexcusable. And to be honest, Doc Rivers is the most overrated coach to me. He got that one championship in 2008, and then he went to the finals in 2010. But pretty much after that, he hasn't done anything, right? But I don't think this is his fault. This ain't his fault. He got the game plan. He put it out there. It ain't his fault. Now, if you want to talk about guys not being motivated, listen, that whole concept, that works to a degree. But it's game 7 of the Eastern semis. You got a player in Joel Embiid who is still unproven and hasn't been to the conference finals yet. You have to find a way to motivate yourself to get going. It's only so much Doc Rivers can do. It's game 7. Win or go home. Why does the coach have to motivate you? Especially you being a grown man. It's not his fault. Joel Embiid didn't show up. And as a result, Joel Embiid didn't show up. Harden was even worse. And the Sixers are going home. And for as long as I live, unless Joel Embiid somehow wins a championship next year, which is definitely unlikely because I believe this is the best chance he's ever going to get unless he goes somewhere else, I don't want to hear about Joel Embiid again. I dang near don't even want to say he's a superstar now. That's just how it is.